How's the team doing now that pads are popping and you're actually hitting people?
Oh, you know what? It's a process, and I know everybody hears that word, but it's a step-by-step, gradual dealing with younger guys, with mid-years. It's going to take time, and the one thing we don't want to do is we don't want to just pull back the reins and you put in 2 or 3 defenses. Just they've got to understand a little bit of the fire hose effect, and they're gonna. So we had some new install in today, so their heads were spinning a little bit. But the first, 4 practices we based in what we do, so they could get grounded in that, and we started adding, and we'll add again some more next week. And the old guys, it's not that big of a deal. They're just sort of knocking the rust off. It's the young ones where you really see they're swimming a little bit. And the big thing is just tell them, hey, don't hit the panic button. Just understand everybody goes through it, and they will. That's the beauty about having 15 practices. And we've only had 5 right now, and so we're lucky. We got 10 left, and we got to make every one of them count.
It's kind of nice that you don't have to do this all in the summer since there's so many new guys coming in.
You know what? I really do. I think it helps. And I know the ones that aren't here right now, they communicate with us. They're like, oh, I wish I was there. And you try to, you talk to them. You say, it's okay. We've all done, the majority of us until this recent mid-year sort of phase in Wave started, that's how we all did it. And that's how, we got the pro day tomorrow. That's how these guys will be rookies here. They're not going to baby them when they go to their first team and their first OTA. There's going to be guys that have been in their building for 5, 6, 7 years, and they're going to know the defense or offense, and they're going to have to take it. And that's just being a first-year guy in any organization, whether you're in high school, college, pro, don't matter. So the nice thing I think about our mid-years is that they really care. They get in here, they get extra on their own. You can tell they're trying to get in the playbook. They can get things confused here and there, but there's progress, and you've seen day-to-day progress. Sometimes it's a bigger jump, sometimes it's not, but there's some encouraging signs, but we still got a long way to go.
You mentioned pro day. You've seen it on the other side. What were you looking for when you were on the other side?
You know what? I think everybody thinks about the height, weight, speed stuff, but I think really important going into tomorrow is all those individual drills after, the initial the height, weight, speed, the broad jumps, all those testing numbers. It's when they get in and they actually have to do football movements and coaches put them through. That's what they're looking for, because it's about having functional speed and strength. And it's no different for us. I know there's a big wave, to have all these high school combines and all, but at the end of the day, it's about what can you do on a football field, and can you translate those numbers into production and into an explosion, and then the board work's important. They're going to have an opportunity to sit down with those guys and have individual meetings and have to show what kind of football knowledge they have. That's important.
Coach Merrill told us that tomorrow may end up being one of the best days in the program's history. And I know that's hyperbole coming from Vince, but can you just kind of expound on that?
No, any time that the number of professional teams are going to be walking in this building to see all the guys that we've got. We've had all those guys. It's one thing to be at the combine and everybody see it on TV. It's another thing to go in the indoor and you just see head coaches, position coach, GMs, coordinators, up and down the sidelines, and guys that are recognizable. And no, it's a big thing for this program, and it's going to be a big thing come that last week of April, in the draft, and hopefully, we're all pulling that they all do really, really well. And I think the one thing I've told those guys is, no matter what round you go, whether you go at all, if you get in a camp, that's all you need. There's the getting the foot in the door. There was plenty of guys that I played that were undrafted free agents, and so this isn't the end all, but what they're looking to see is, can you perform in the bright lights? And this is as close as a football game atmosphere in terms of, okay, you've got all this pressure, all this eyes. All right, can you rise to the occasion and can you perform?
Talk about the young man that's here now. He's been here for a while and hasn't played and was thought fairly high on this time last year. Jamin Davis. Talk about him.
Jamin's coming along. You know, the thing with Jamin, you know, is, and I think a lot of people forget, is, you know, he had a couple of injuries, setbacks here and there whenever he was just starting to get going. You know, he's been injury-free thus far, and he's been able to get a significant amount of reps, and you can see him. The understanding's there. You know, he's getting better and better each day. Again, just like anybody else, there's still a lot of work to be done. He's still got to just, you know, he's got to trust what he sees. You know, sometimes there's a little bit of a hesitation at times in terms of trust, but when he finally believes that what he's seen is the correct thing and he doesn't second guess himself, he's got a chance to be a really good player. He's got the speed, he's got the pop, I mean, he's got the physique. He's kind of what you're looking for, you know, from an inside linebacker. And, you know, we're going to need him to be a contributor this year. You know, we're going to need everybody to step up, and everybody's got to elevate their games. And he needs to continue to make progress over these next 10 practices, but they've been in some encouraging signs.
The defensive line, you've got a ton of guys coming back. What needs to be their focus on improving as a unit throughout the spring?
You know what? There's some things that we talked about. You know, going through cut-ups. You know, just understanding rush lanes, balancing those rush lanes. You know, at times we've got to be, you know, stronger at certain techniques. But what they need to do is just continue to grind and perfect. So if they were good at a technique last year, this year they need to be great. You know, if they were average at a certain technique, they need to be good. You know, and we love to say everybody's going to be great at it, sure, but that's just not reality. What we need is incremental improvement from each guy up there, and then as a unit, when you put all those incremental improvements together, it's going to look, you know, that much better for us as a defense. And I think we need to do that across the board. But from a starting point, the D-line's probably, you know, ahead of any other group other than maybe the inside backers, you know, have a lot of experience. And so, which is nice. When you say, how do you want to build your defense? You want to build it inside out. You want to be stout in the middle. And so when you've got two really good 4 eyes and a really good nose guard in Q, and then you say, okay, I've got 2, and we're blessed. We have 3 and 4 inside backers that have played and that know how to play in this defense. You know, we've got a really solid inside core to build off of, and now everybody else, you know, just needs to come and expand off of that.
What's this pass rush kind of look like? I mean, what have you seen so far in these 5 practices? That, I mean, you're not going to replace.
No, you're not going to replace 17 sacks. What I've thought about a lot was in 2013, Rob Mathis led the league, led the NFL in sacks. He had 19 and a half that season, and we had 41 as a team. Rob got hurt in the offseason, so we didn't have the entire 14 season, and we ended up having 42 sacks the next year, with no individual person having more than 6.5. What we did is we had to spread it around, and we had to move the lines a little bit. And so we might have to do that to take the target off. When you don't have a dominant rusher, what you're going to have to do is, you know, you're going to have to, yeah, you'll have to scheme a little bit. And I don't like to use the scheme, because I mean, there's sort of a connotation there. But I think we have to do a good job coaching-wise, again, of taking the targets off of guys and making an offense think, okay, which way are they coming this time? You know, and so I think what you'll see this year is you'll see a more even disbursement, you know, of how we're getting to the quarterback in terms of across the position groups.
Have there been any guys that maybe haven't shown a lot of pass rush yet to this point, but in this kind of committee type approach maybe that you're hinting at could give you a little more?
You know what, I don't think we just had a touch of third down today. So we've really never cut them loose. These first couple of practices have been more first and second down, so we've been so run-oriented, conversion to pass. You know, we haven't really cut them loose, so I think that'll start to shape up here over the next week or two, especially when we hit some scrimmage situations. Okay, it's third down, it's third and long. You know, now you can deepen up your stance, you can put more weight on your hand. All right, let's see who can get off, who can strike, be physical, and we saw a little bit of it today, but not enough to say anybody stood out in that regard.
At this point, how do you feel about your overall conditioning of your defense?
That's a work in progress. I think we're definitely, for where I envision us being, we are not sort of football conditioned. I think, you know, Coach Ed's done an unbelievable job, you know, with those guys. They're fast, they're explosive. You can see it. We look the part, but there's nothing like running around the football field to football condition. You know, you can't get it just running wind sprints. You can't just, you've got to be engaged, strain your body, then you have to tear off, and then you have to strain down the field, and then you got to jog back, you know, and then you have to do that for 4 or 5 or 6 plays in a row. That's a completely different level of conditioning to the body, and we're not there yet, but again, we're only at practice 5, and what we have to do is get ourselves as close to that come practice 15, you know, in the spring game, and then carry on that conditioning through the summer, and then use fall camp to, again, get back into football shape.
How's Josh Paschal done the further he gets away from what he dealt with last year and gets stronger? And
he's another one where it's a day-by-day process for him. You know, it's again where Josh really excels. You know, not only is he big and strong and physical, is he's one of those guys you guys have asked in terms of who do you see becoming that integral part of the pass rush, and he's obviously one of those guys. I mean, you know, he was that as a freshman, and then you know, going into the season last year, I mean, you know, we expected him and Josh to be neck and neck in terms of, you know, battling to the field. So he's still getting his feet underneath him, but I think having a little bit of third down today, you know, helped. You know, on the very last play of practice, had a really good rush inside, you know, that forced a bad throw. So that's one that we need to continue to bring along, and we're going to lean heavily on.
Okay, folks, thank you very much.